In 1882, a man named Antoni Gaudi began building a church in Barcelona. But he knew he would never see it finished. He poured 43 years of his life into it, and when he died, only a quarter of the building was complete. A reporter once asked him, "What's taking so long?" His answer was simple. He said, "My client is not in a hurry." About 10 years ago, I stood inside that church, the Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, with my family. Stone, light, geometry, and everywhere, signs of work still in progress. More than 140 years of building. Entire empires have risen and fallen since those first stones were set. And still, the work continues. I walked out of that church and called my co-founder, Ryan. I said, "I think we've been building our company wrong." Let me back up a bit. If we sat down for coffee right now, you might look at my life and assume it's the result of good luck and perfect timing. But none of the most important things in my life happened quickly. I've been married to my wife, Tanya, for 23 years. I've been dad to my 3 kids for 18 years. I met Ryan, my best friend, when we were in grade 3, almost 40 years ago. And Clio, the legal technology company we co-founded together, is nearing its 20th anniversary. I'm a builder, always have been. Here's a picture of me and Ryan on my 15th birthday. Long before Ryan became my co-founder, we were just 2 kids who liked building things. People described us as 2 hammers looking for a nail. We tried everything. A snow shoveling business in our hometown of Edmonton, a very lucrative line of business in Edmonton. We built computers, then websites for friends and family. We dreamed about starting an aerospace engineering company together, Newton Govro Aerospace. We even had a logo for it. But we gave up that idea when we realized the startup costs were significant. Most of those ideas went nowhere. A few worked just enough to keep us going. But every single one of them reinforced the same belief. Find what works, do it again and again, and success will ensue. When times were hard, I paid attention. When things worked, I repeated them. It was a simple formula, and for a long time, it was enough. But here's what that formula doesn't teach you. Success rarely tells you when it's time to change. In fact, it does the opposite. It rewards you for doing exactly what you've always done, even as the world around you quietly changes and becomes something else entirely. Eventually, I found a problem worth devoting my life to. Moving one of the most technology-resistant professions in the world, legal, into the cloud and into the age of AI. That question became the foundation for everything that followed. When Ryan and I started Clio, we were 2 guys writing code for a handful of lawyers. We were raising young families. Staying close to everything wasn't a leadership choice. It was survival. But the company grew. The scale of decisions expanded. The number of people affected by those decisions continued to grow. Today, Clio powers more than 400,000 legal professionals across 130 countries. We have more than 2,000 employees spread across 15 offices around the world. And every single day, Clio is the largest company I've ever run. And somewhere in the middle of all of that growth, something happened I didn't notice for far too long. The instincts I trusted most stopped being the right ones. I want to be specific about this because I think it's the part most founders never talk about. There was a period, and I'm not proud of this, that every major decision at Clio passed through me. Product direction, hiring calls, strategy shifts, conflict resolution. I was the final word on all of it. And it felt good. That's the part that's hard to admit. Being the person that everything and everyone depends on feels like proof that you're doing your job. You're the founder. You built this. Of course it needs you. But looking back, I realized I felt less like a CEO and more like an air traffic controller. Every decision was routing through me. And I told myself that was my responsibility. But what was actually happening was this. Decisions were stacking up instead of spreading out. Smart, capable people were waiting on me, not because they couldn't decide, but because I'd built a culture where they believed they shouldn't. I had become the bottleneck in my own company. And the worst part is, the company's success made that almost impossible to see. Because success is a terrible teacher. Success turns early instincts into fixed beliefs. It takes the survival tactics of two people in a garage and calcifies them into gospel. And it never, ever tells you that the thing you're best at might be the thing that's holding you and everyone else back. That's what I was thinking about, standing in the Sagrada Familia. Gaudi didn't build that basilica so it would need him. He built it so it could continue without him. He designed systems, structural principles, models, blueprints, so that generations of builders who'd never met him could carry the work forward with integrity. He built something that could outlast his own brilliance. And I realized I had been doing the opposite. I was building a company that needed me at the center of it, not a company that could stand on its own. A decade into Clio's journey had felt like a lifetime to me. But standing in a building that had been under construction since 1882, I realized we're still at the very beginning of whatever this company was meant to become. And if it's going to get there, it can't require me to hold it all together. I want to tell you about the phone call I made to Ryan after I left that church. I didn't say I had an epiphany. I said something closer to, I think I've been getting in our own way. Ryan paused and he said, I know. He knew, other people around us knew, but no one tells the founder that. Not when things are going well. When the company is hitting its numbers, when the board is happy, when the culture still feels strong, no one walks into your office and says, you're the problem. Success protects you from that feedback. It insulates you. And if you're a pathological optimist, something I'm often called, and I'm still not entirely sure it's a compliment, you can run on that insulation for years. So I've compiled 3 questions I want to share today. None of these learnings stems from books or conferences. These are all questions and learnings I've arrived at the hard way, most by getting them wrong first. And while they stem from a business context, I've expanded them to every role I play in life, be it husband, father, friend, or founder. Question 1, is what you're building outgrowing you? The skills that build a company from 0 to 1 are not the same skills that take it from 1 to 1,000. And sometimes, and this is the part that breaks your heart, the people that built that company shoulder to shoulder with you at the start are not the right people to carry it forward with you. That's not betrayal. That's a season change. Question 2 is what can't evolve without me? If the answer is everything, you haven't built a company. You've built a dependency with a logo. And question 3 is, will what you build outlast you? That question changed how I lead. It changed how I hire. It changed the things I pay attention to and what I deliberately ignore. And it changed my relationship with control, which is still something I'm working on. The world doesn't stop changing because your current approach is working. And the longer your current approach works, the harder it becomes to let go of. That's true for founders, it's true for leaders, and I think it's true for anyone trying to build something meaningful. I mentioned at the beginning that the most important things in my life took time. My marriage, my kids, my friendship with Ryan, Clio. None of them were built in a single season. And this is the part I want you to hear. None of them stayed healthy by accident. They endured because they changed, because I changed. Gaudi spent the last 12 years of his life sleeping in his workshop at the Sagrada Familia. He gave everything to a building he knew he'd never see finished. And the reason it's still standing, the reason they're still building it a century after his death, and tracking to finish it this year, by the way, is not because he made himself irreplaceable. It's because he didn't. If you're building something that matters, a company, a team, a family, a life, you cannot let success be your only teacher. You have to stay willing to learn when things are going well. You have to examine the instincts that brought you here and decide which ones will carry you forward and which ones you need to set down. Great things take time, and they also take change. And importantly, the most important change is within you. Thank you.